Good afternoon, everyone. June is just 5 days away. 20 inches of snow falling across China and Inner Mongolia, as well as highways closed in Germany due to heavy snows. Italy deep in snow. The Alps across in Germany and Switzerland also covered in snow. Look at the depth of that. It continues on the Spanish Pyrenees, Maine in the United States getting snow. Looking at the forecast out for the next week, snow in Canada, blizzard warnings, frost warnings, freeze warnings. And this is what the temperature map looks like just a week before June. Something is changing. In this year's Chinese calendar, it is already considered summer. Our Shan and Inner Mongolia, heavy snows, few images for you to look through. Towns and cities are reeling to stay open as they've already put away the snow removal equipment because it is, after all, in the Chinese calendar, currently summer. Vehicles stranded on mountains having to be towed. The police have to come in and help. Also in the German, Austrian, and Swiss Alps, heavy snows coming down. As you can see, the depth through here is just something significant when you think it's right now getting into June. German roads are no better. Mountain roads blocked. The Brenner motorway blocked. Traffic coming to a standstill. 6 inches of snow. 15 centimeters. These images of the Italian Alps coming out of a publication in Moscow. And the article itself states, May, snows are not common. Spanish Pyrenees as well, snow cover. It was 40 degrees Celsius the day before, which is in the 90 Fahrenheit range. And it dropped down to 5, which is in the 40s for Fahrenheit. Snowing, that was a non-covered snow mountain before those snows started. I grabbed this off the NOAA website. You can see where the white dotted line is snow, as well as the rain and snow mix down in the Rocky Mountains. Buffalo, New York, freeze, frost, special weather warnings. Frost and freeze across a majority of the northeast United States. Low temperatures dipping into the 20s. This is one of my viewers sent me this picture here from his backyard in Maine on the 24th of May. This is also off the NOAA website, advisories and warnings. Notice that dark and light blue. That is frost and freeze. The red is gale force winds. Record snow and cold in Canada. New record going back to 1895 in North Battleford, Saskatoon. Swift Current. Look at those records going back 1923, 1895, 1949. We're definitely pushing back in time on that. Urgent weather message. New York State. Frost and freeze warnings. College, Pennsylvania. Now notice at the very bottom there, those with agricultural or gardening interest to protect sensitive crops and vegetation. That would include all of our fields that were just planted. Looking at the temperature delta here of the United States, you would not even think that we were close to the last week of June. This looks like something more in February than it does late May going on June. What's causing all of these incredibly cold temperatures? May 21st, I dug back into some temperature records here. Dipping down into the 30s across the plains states. Again, that's where we grow an enormous amount of food, and those seedlings are up, the shoots are up, the sprouts are up, the grass is up, but it is going to be affected by the cold. And what I mean by that is just take a look here. This is Mansfield, Pennsylvania. Look at the frost damage on those second or third week leaves. Granted, that's a clover crop, but you can just imagine what's happening with corn. I just pulled out some random freeze warnings that are going through. You can back check and find your own information here. I pulled this one especially because, again, it impacts frost damage to tender vegetation. Those are spring plantings of our main grain food sources. Average date of last freeze, I don't know if I can really believe this. They put that at May 15th for the last freeze, but Everybody's talking about how unusual and rare it is. I think that's been a little fudged data, or those lines are pushing far north, that those demarcation lines in the temperature actually don't fit. As well, digging through the information, I found the temperature forecast going out through the summer. Notice this, much below average for June temperatures. July forecast temperatures much below average and below average for literally 3/4 of the lower 48 states. August temperatures looks like 70% of the lower 48 United States going to be much below or below average. Now, whoa. All this news front page saying it's the warmest year on record, and they're coming out with a temperature forecast throughout the entire summer saying it's much below average for most of the United States. Something is not correct. We're continually fed with these stories of how the temperatures are going up to the ultra extremes and it's warmer every year. But how can it possibly be showing these type of forecast cold temperatures when we're supposed to, by some magical forces, be going into the hottest year ever? And here's the forecast for the coldest summer we've probably had in 100 years. And if it follows the pattern, what's going to happen is it's going to start snowing in September, and we will not have enough time to grow our crops to full maturity before harvest. And this will actually be the beginning year of agriculture being affected by the new grand solar minimum cold temperatures. I don't know how much longer they can keep this global climate change lie alive with this CO2 fairy tale that's going on. When we get into 2017, we are going to be full bore into the cooling of this new grand solar minimum. Eyes are going to open and there's no more sweeping it under the rug. I don't know how they're going to explain to people that you've been fed a lie for 18 to 20 years. I'll leave you with temperature reconstruction, just showing over time the regularity of the minimums and how they even decimated the Chinese dynasties that were at the uber apex at that time, 1,000, 1,200 years ago, of technology. More modern science, take a look at the butterfly diagrams, check out the sunspot count yourself, look at the Dalton minimum, research the Maunder minimum, take a look at history and just follow the pattern. It's a repeating cycle and we are repeating again. Welcome to the new grand solar minimum. Thanks for watching. Hope you got something out of the video. If you like the information, make sure to subscribe to my channel, Adapt 2030.